The latest news now brings the death toll of the black rhinos to 9 out of the 11 that were translocated from Nairobi and Nakuru National Parks to a new sanctuary in Tsavo East National Park.
We have confirmed this morning with the park management that they are in good health.
The circumstances surrounding their death are still shrouded in mystery, as various theories are given by conservationists.
We have called upon Professor Gathumi from Nairobi University. He was there on Thursday and Friday. He's taken all the samples. He promised us by the 23rd of this month, he will give us a comprehensive postmortem report.
An external independent team has been appointed to investigate the situation, as Balala confirmed that the KWS has been left out of the probe.
And the team that is going to lead the investigation will be a senior officer from the CID office, the Criminal Investigation Office. Then we will attach somebody from my office. There will be the University of Nairobi, the vet department. There will be the vet department also at the Ministry of Agriculture.
There was speculation of deliberate foul play in the deaths of the rhinos.
These are the horns, the 18 horns. I've just directed, because there is a protocol also to transport ivory from one station to another. I've directed KWS to do that, and we can arrange at the appropriate time to even bring them here for you to take all the necessary pictures and evidence so that these ivory are for these animals.
As of now, translocation of rhinos has been stopped until further notice.
All right, joining me in studio is CS Balala, the CS of Tourism and Wildlife. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for finding time to be with us this morning to talk about an incident that has not just shocked Kenyans, but the world. Yeah. From the time you spoke yesterday, do you have any more information that you can tell us that could help sort of get Kenyans to understand exactly what happened?
No, I think let's put things in perspective. We wanted to transport 11 or translocate 14 originally. We only managed to do 11. And we moved 3 from Nakuru and 8 from Nairobi National Park. And this is a tradition. We have done this since 2005. Our KWS team have experience and knowledge to do this. We have done 149 translocations of rhinos. Only 8 died.
But 8 within a very short period?
No. 2005 to 2017, we have done 149.
With 8 having died in that period?
Mm-hmm. But for this one, it's shocking. If there any person who is traumatized, is those officers in KWS. I can tell you they are passionate. Are you traumatized
yourself?
I was shocked myself to hear the news the first day I got the news, because we can't believe such beautiful big animals, and then all of a sudden you're told just died, and no explanation until further notice.
Okay.
So it was really disturbing.
Help us understand, the process started last month, yes. When, and we know that it was done in stages. I think 3 were moved, then another 3, then another 3, then 2 to make about 11. At what point was it reported that the first rhino had passed on?
First of all, before even I go there, first there is a process how to do these things. This process started 2010. There was a donor who is willing. We wanted to have more space for rhinos, particularly Nairobi is congested, and also Nakuru is congested for rhinos. They are fighting because these are territorial. So we had to move alternatives. We have done that in Meru, we have done that in Tsavo West National Park, and now we are doing it in Tsavo East. Tsavo East also traditionally used to have rhinos, despite of the harsh weather in that area, but it had rhinos. And currently, Tsavo East already have 15 rhinos that exist outside the sanctuary. Now this sanctuary, and I want to put the record straight, people are saying that government has moved animals to a private sanctuary. No, it's not true. People are dishonest about it. We have created a sanctuary within the Tsavo National Park.
Funded by
WWF, but the sanctuary belongs to us as government. It's inside the park. So we got funding, we built fences, we built all the requirement for a sanctuary. We managed to now start the ecological impact assessment study. We did that in 2011. So it has all the studies done. So when we wanted to do it last year, the weather was harsh. When we wanted to do it this year, in April, it was too wet. So the board advised that let's wait until the appropriate, and the appropriate area was in June. So it was analyzed, everything was done right, so the translocation happened. So I asked myself, I asked the team, why didn't you just transport 3 and wait for another month and transported another 3? They said, no, these are territorial. If you translocate 3, they'll go, they settle. When the new ones come, they start fighting. And
so they felt it necessary to do it all at the same time.
All at once, and 11 has been done before.
Fair enough. So when did the first rhino die?
The chronology.
The chronology.
26th of June, we did the translocation. Observation of rhino was over drinking water, taking water too much, was almost on the 2nd
of July.
The 30th and the 1st. The 2nd of July, the first one died. The 3rd of July, the 4th of July, the second one died. The minute the second one died, there was an order then to stop the remaining 3 from Nakuru to be translocated. That's why there were only 11.
Because the others had already been moved?
Already have been moved, yes.
And so when were you informed?
So 26 was done the first batch, 3. 29 the second batch, and the second is the third batch. So I was informed on last week, Monday evening.
Why such a delay?
Again, I asked the same question. So they wanted to get a reason before they can communicate to me. I was out of the country. I landed on Monday night.
That doesn't make sense, yes.
No, just hold on.
Go ahead, okay.
I landed on Monday night. The minute I opened my phone, I saw this news. So I said, Tuesday morning I'll be giving an update, and they promised they're going to give me an update. But because they kept on dying, they didn't know the reason, they couldn't explain to me, and they couldn't come out publicly to explain. So on Wednesday, I said, no, we must go public. So Tuesday evening, they released a statement on their own.
It says KWS.
KWS on Tuesday evening. Wednesday, I clarified. First 3 things I did. Stop any translocation of rhinos or elephants anywhere in the country. Secondly, I need an independent postmortem to be done. And the third is that any translocation like this, because it's also very stressful for the animal, can we have less people next to the animal? This time when we did the translocation, there were many people in terms of media particularly, and media was all over the cage, and everybody wants the best picture. And every KWS staff, including ourselves, everyone to get the best photo. So that by itself creates an anxiety to the staff as well as to the animal. That is my simple layman's.
But that anxiety, I doubt, would lead to the deaths of 8.
Let me tell you, the worst thing an animal has to go through is trauma.
Fair enough. Yes, I think what I'm trying to understand here is, so you're the CEO of Tourism and Wildlife, in my view, and I'm looking at, for example, the CEO of a company. 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the deaths of rhinos on a continuous basis is going on, you haven't been informed, you find out through the media. I mean, you should have fired people by now, CS, honestly. I would, I think, if I was in that situation.
Well, it's unfortunate the delay, and yesterday I apologized on behalf of KWS that they have delayed in communication. But it doesn't mean there's anything they're hiding.
It looks like it.
It's easy to say it looks like it, but you see there's so many protocols in doing these things. And it's a very sensitive information, as well as they need to get the root cause. So they did their own postmortem first, internal postmortem, which the preliminary results was the cause was water. They had boreholes dug in KWS sanctuary at the national park. One borehole has high salinity levels.
Out of how many boreholes?
There are 3. But the one that is on this sanctuary, and I saw it myself, the salinity was over the limits. So I said, so you have done the postmortem, you have seen this salinity, That's why immediately when it came to the 2nd of July, they had to flush out all the water, bring water bowsers for fresh water, and start feeding them with that. Now, when we went with, yesterday I also went with another veterinary from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock. And we tried to say, if it's not water, because there are already rhinos existing there, yeah?
And we haven't had of the reports of deaths of the magnitude that we have had of these ones.
So we said maybe it could be the feed, or could be the whole environment, and even heat stroke, because when we went there even yesterday it was very hot.
Very contrary to the temperatures we're having in Nairobi, because when you tell a Nairobian heat wave,
definitely, and you could see, you could see even my face yesterday. I was almost tanned with the heat from Savo. So it's a very complicated thing. Despite, I've said it very clear, we have appointed an interagency, a multi-agency team to investigate, independent, and we don't want any of the KWS team to be involved. I've instructed all the post-mortem report from Nairobi University and the government chemist analysis of water. All the samples were taken from the site, the environment, plus the feed should come directly to me, and even not to me personally. It should go to the team head that is investigating.
Were there any warnings from any environmentalists? Do not translocate these rhinos.
No.
None whatsoever. So the reports in the media, I think in the Star yesterday.
There are too many activists in this sector.
But they've been proven right in this case.
No. You see, everybody has his own. I'm new in this sector, but I've realized kila moja ni mjuaji. And then if we are genuine, you just don't come and blame. Give us a solution. And KWS has been very good. And there are quite a number, and I want to make it very clear here, quite a number of NGO want to see the downfall of KWS so they can replace KWS authority. But
they had nothing, they had nothing to do with this.
It's the bigger picture. Maura, just hold on. It's a bigger picture. This process has not started only today. I listened to news yesterday. People are dishonest. They are giving the wrong information. They are saying, oh, why can't it be, why the Sangare elephants we did, all of them died. It's not true. I went there myself. 21 elephants were translocated. And in an incident or accident like this, it happens. Sometimes it's the pressure from the animal itself. In Sangare, from the 21, one died elephants. And we have reported about it. Now these ones, delay of information to be reported, but it will not be hidden in KWS. Because there are two parties. There is WWF, who is a highly respected, and they have a specialist of the rhino group, and they have been working with us since 1960.
Because you're talking about the right information, give us the right information about the environmental impact study that was done back in 2011. Have you had a chance to look at it?
Yes, I did.
What did it say about the water?
2011, they had an EIA. The EIA, including that EIA, was presented to the board. It has been said that there is a water level on one of the boreholes, but it is not that dangerous. But when the rains come, that water level should improve, or there'll be a mixture with the rain. And immediately after April rains, we have seen major improvement, including the vegetation has improved in Savo. So that survey was done.
And it raised a warning about one of the boreholes.
It raised a warning of one of the boreholes. Now, that's why I said we want to give all these documents to the multi-agency team. They'll go through it, they'll investigate, they'll tell us where are the faults. Probably the fault was not even in the water. The fault might be in the feed. The fault might be in the vaccination part of it. But in terms of the vaccination, and I don't want to exonerate anybody, if it was vaccination, it will be immediate death between Nairobi and Savo. If it was a mistake of the vaccination.
So you're using that as to eliminate that?
Yeah, but I don't want to eliminate that. Let the investigators do that. Yeah, we want them to look at the EIA. What did the EIA say? How deep was the EIA? Was it shallow EIA, or was it really concrete and it had a lot of information that we have to be careful. But these are endangered species. We have to be extremely careful about it. So I want not to protect anybody, and we are very clear that anybody who is going to have caused the death or did not play his role, he's going to be penalized on these issues.
When we talk about that report, and when you did the board approved it in its current form without any recommendations because you've raised the issue of the borehole?
Yeah. Now, the little thing I've seen from the board minutes yesterday, and I have to study them and understand what the interpretation.
Because you are not the one who signed off on it. You found a process already.
This process started in 2010. Mine was just to appear, and the translocation is happening. It was supposed to be done last year, in fact, but the weather was harsh. It was supposed to be done in April this year, but it was too rainy. So ours is look at the appropriate, and it's very clear in the board minutes, I've seen it, where it has been signed, yeah, that they were told to make sure the weather is appropriate. So that we don't send them when it's too dry or too hot, but send them where the weather is good. And that month of June, it was a good weather.
But July, it changed. Because when you, like you spoke about yesterday.
No, in terms of the heat and the sun, it's always been hot in Savo. But in terms of vegetation, yeah, that vegetation, there is vegetation in Savo. And also, the whole country has been raining. That's why there is enough water in the water ponds. And we flew over Savo, and we have seen the water ponds. Some of them have water.
Have you seen the bodies of the dead rhinos?
Yesterday, I saw two decomposed carcasses. And then I flew to Voi, where I was shown all the 18 horns. And because personally, I saw when they were drilling the transmitters to the horn, the chip on the second small horn, I saw it myself. So when they were displaying them, I saw all those chips and the.
Do you have any pictures, CS, of the carcasses with the horns attached? Because, and you can understand the kind of country we live in at the moment, where suspicion in everything that sort of happens. And we actually have a tweet on the same note. Just put that tweet up. Nick Kirui, why did they dehorn the carcasses? And that's been a question that everybody's asking. But for me, it's not even just the why, but do you have pictures? Because it's one thing to show us horns. It's another thing to show us horns of the particular 9 rhinos that passed on.
We have a technology that whenever we put a transmitter and a chip, you will know which animal is this. And I have told KWS tomorrow they will parade the horns, they'll put up the technology, and anybody wants to verify those issues will be allowed to verify those issues.
And we should trust KWS?
Well, in one way or another, we have to trust. Because let me tell you, despite all these shortcomings, KWS is one of the most respected institution in terms of conservation of wildlife.
But one under whose watch, CS, 9 rhinos have died? I mean, you've seen the international headlines, CS.
Let me tell you, we cannot use one incident, which is unfortunate and very sad, yeah, to demonize. And that's why we said people individually will take responsibility whenever the report comes out and identify where were the gaps. I will personally take those responsibilities and make sure action is being taken on those people.
What does taking responsibility mean for you, CS?
Well, if somebody, let's say, is a vet who has failed in terms of using the right medication, that vet will take responsibility. If the transportation was not done well, if the feed was not inspected, if the reason is the saline water and the person who went to do the tasting of saline water before the animals arrived, that person will take responsibility.
What about collective responsibility, CS?
What do you mean by collective responsibility?
Whereas the captain of the ship takes responsibility for the activities that happen within their docket.
That is very...
It happens in other countries, CS, and you are widely traveled. You know that a transport CS will step aside if a train crash happens while they are there. There are those who are saying, CS, that how did this happen under your watch? I know you've said it started in 2011. That's okay. But this happened under your watch. CS.
Just tell me, Maura, there's a technical organization in charge fully with autonomy to be responsible on translocation. What we do as ministry is only policy.
Not approvals?
Not approvals. We don't even approve. Even that approval to translocate is the board.
So who has the final say? You're telling me that committee has sort of the final authority even over what you as the CEO of the ministry?
The policy is we allow translocation to create space for these animals and to encourage breeding of these animals. That's the policy. How it's done, when it's done, by who it's done, now goes to the technical issues, which is now the institution itself. The institution prepares a whole program for a board to approve. That is the process of government.
So for you, responsibility with the technical committee, not with the ministry run by CS Najib Balala?
Because the ministry that I run is purely on policies. I don't execute. Secondly, I don't even approve.
You're not running away from responsibility,
No. This is the culture that we have here in Kenya, that we want the blood of anybody because a mistake has happened. That person who has done that particular mistake should be that person take responsibility.
I asked you a question and I didn't get an answer. When can Kenyans see pictures of the dead rhinos, the carcasses?
Well, we have all the pictures tomorrow on Thursday at 10 o'clock.
Not of the horns alone, but of the actual dead rhinos.
The carcasses.
Have you seen those pictures?
I've seen personally yesterday 2 carcasses, but I have been told all the carcasses, the pictures are available at KWS. So I've instructed KWS tomorrow, do a parade, both of the horns and the pictures, and they'll have the technology to download the data that was used on the transmitter.
And they should verify and link each horn.
And the people who are activists and people who are in the NGO world for the wildlife, they know this technology and they'll go there and verify.
Yes, on a related note,
yes,
a convention on international trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora, CITES, gave Kenya a deadline, that was February 28th, to declare all stock of elephant tusks and rhino horns. This should have been by the 28th of February, and this was an order or a directive given around the 29th of December. And a quote there by the former CS in the ministry that was now handed over to you is that Kenya has done everything it can to ensure that any stock we have, whether it's of elephant tusks or horns, are kept in a safe place, are monitored, etc., so that it doesn't fall back into the hands of those who'd like to buy them. I don't know, did this happen? Do you, for example, as CS right now, can you tell us, I know that in terms of elephant tusks, we have X number in the country, we have X number of rhino horns. Do you have that information?
Well, I don't have the information personally, but also I've been told there is a very elaborate digitization of the stocks, and they are in the safe. I haven't visited those stocks. Why? Because they are well secured, and I have not seen. I never doubted myself. CITES, there's a program of CITES.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you there, and I apologize if I sound rude today. You never doubted, despite what has happened this week, CS. Are you keen with what is happening in the ministries or the bodies that work under you, CS?
I have full trust in KWS, and there's technology.
Kenyans don't have that trust anymore.
Well, this is unfortunate. Me being the minister, I have to have trust of the team that I work, and I'm convinced because I get the reports. We have stocks, and anybody who doubted KWS in terms of keeping those stocks, those are people who are the enemies of wildlife conservation in this country.
The same people who want KWS don't translocate those rhinos.
Well, translocation of those rhinos, why should we translocate those rhinos? For what purpose? We translocate them for a reason. We do post-translocation. Yeah? So post and pre-translocation, we do those studies. And then we do it. We don't just wake up and do them. We have consulted, we work with partners, and we work with experts. But WWF has an expert in rhino. They have especially a rhino specialist group all over the world. And we work very closely with them. So I have no doubt to this big international organization, which has been a partner for the last 40 years with us, definitely they must be good. There might be an error, probably. And that's why I said I don't want to say maybe things are right, but let the investigation give me a report, and I will make sure the report will give us guidance of what action to take.
In March this year, you appointed former Kenya Wildlife Service Director David Weston to chair a task force. The task force is to look at hunting and selling of wildlife products and trophies. I see you're smiling. Why the... Okay, have I said the wrong...
Because we are dishonest. Because we are dishonest.
Educate
dishonest.
Educate me, CS.
Yes. But you see, we come to a national media and we are talking about lies. Maura,
am I lying?
Of course.
Okay. Please.
You are lying.
Speak the truth, yes. Yeah? Tell me what is true.
Get the Kenya Gazette I've signed. The Kenya Gazette is very clear. And I refer the Kenya Gazette to the Kenya Constitution and to the Wildlife Act, which says that we need to discuss, to raise the issues or to address the issues of utilization of wildlife.
What does the word consumptive utilization mean to you? Describe that for me.
Consumptive utilization for us is how do you benefit from it. As a layman in this sector, I'll say is how do we benefit from wildlife. There are different forms of benefit. So I've appointed a task force. I gazetted the terms of reference. First, I put Dr. Weston. Unfortunately, he could not make it. We put Dr. John Waithaka. John Waithaka took up this position. His Excellency the President appointed John Waithaka to be the chairman of KWS. We removed John Waithaka because of these two organizations. We have put Dr. Okita. Dr. Okita is a specialist on rhinos in the IUCN. So we have put somebody who is also professional and respected in the sector. At the same time, in the Kenya Gazette, I particularly written there, no debate on hunting in Kenya. Hunting is banned in Kenya.
So what is consumptive utilization then? When are you not hunting, but consumptively utilizing wildlife?
You see,
help me understand the difference.
Probably what we are going to say is that if I have animals in my ranch or in my land, they are competing with my livestock. How do I benefit from this? I don't have to eat them. I don't have to kill them. We might trade them. For example, the other person is doing livestock, the other person is doing tourism. Can we now trade those animals, that I move them to you so that you can use it for tourism? That is the simple criteria of how do we benefit from wildlife. But the issue here, you come and say, I know people are very emotional in this issue. It's very controversial. But for me, I have not made a decision. We've appointed a task force to look at all these issues and give us what will be the best for Kenya.
And one of the issues they'll be looking at is the possibility of hunting as a tourist. No, because you said you haven't made a decision. You've told them to look at... The
Kenya Gazette is very clear. There is no hunting in Kenya, and we are not opening that debate. I gazetted that myself. That's why I said you should be given the Kenya Gazette, not people who come here and give you the wrong information and misguide you. Because we, as a media, we need to deliver what is the right thing.
In Tanzania, in South Africa, these same debates were held. And first, they were pushed with the same way you're coming to tell us here, CSR, but eventually, laws were changed because consumptive utilization can then take a wider definition. And that is the fear that many have, that what you will begin with this process,
I see the fear.
5 years from now, will become a completely different discussion.
Maura, I see the fear. But at least for me, and my conscience is very clear, that I have made it very clear, we are not opening hunting in this country. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the minister in charge of this sector. If somebody wants to open it after I leave, that's fine. But for me, I have no intention, and I don't see the need. In fact, my investigation is hunting is losing fashion in the world.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, let me show you a tweet. Let's look at that tweet. Do we have that? We have that picture. Let's put it up. This was from South Africa. It's been a trending picture. It should have been the last week or so. Should have that up.
Botswana.
A U.S. hunter has come under criticism after pictures taken in South Africa of her posing with a dead giraffe went viral. This isn't going out of fashion. People are willing to pay money to countries that will allow them to do this. We are trying to build our tourism numbers.
These people are hardly even a 1% of the world population. These people you're talking about. These people are spoiled with money and they want to kill our wildlife. That will not allow. I can tell you.
So we will never see pictures like this?
At least not in my tenure. At least not in my tenure. And whoever who has come to me who had those worries, I assured them. And that's why I particularly use the word no hunting in Kenya in the Gazette that defines the terms of reference of the same task force, that we are not going to allow hunting in Kenya. People say, oh, sport hunting, even during when you do culling, because culling is done to reduce the population of animals. Yeah? Can we allow then tourists to come and do that culling instead of KWS? No. We're not interested in that. It's not about money. It's about the principle of conservation. And conservation, hunting is happening in South Africa, it used to happen in Botswana, it's happening in Namibia. Why? Are they less conservationists than us? No. They are also conservationists. And they have more tourism than us. So those people who are very emotive about this issue, we respect you. But the position and the policy of the Kenya government, there will be no hunting, even if
the task force recommends it as one way to...
The task force terms of reference is very clear. No hunting to be debated in that task force. You see, if you have the task force copy or the Gazette notice, you will realize that I have made it very clear. They don't discuss hunting in the task force.
They don't discuss culling as well?
No, there's farming.
There's farming?
There's cropping. Yes, there's culling. Culling is done every time. Even KWS. For example, if there's overpopulation of a species, then it's KWS that come, they do the culling. Yeah, but there's no clarity. That's why what I'm saying, can this task force give us, if there has to be a culling, what will be the procedure? If there has to be farming, what will be the procedure? So that we have procedures, if it has to be, what will be the procedure? But one clear thing we are not going to accept is hunting.
You're not going to accept hunting?
That's what I'm, at least my conscience, at least my conscience, because I am not a fan of hunting. It doesn't excite me personally, as well as I have already, because
I guess the question here remains, yes, can the word culling be misused? Can it be misused by poachers? Can it be misused by owners of private ranches?
You see, when you do culling, you need authority of government. Authority of government, according to the law now, it cannot give a private person to do that culling. The only person who do a culling currently with the laws is a KWS officer.
So we trust KWS will?
No, that's why I'm saying this task force will have to come with clear criteria and protocols. If culling has to be done, if cropping has to be done, if farming has to be done, what will be the protocol followed? That's what I'm saying. Those protocols need to be taken. We will still have to validate it through public participation. Then we will come with a clear policy of government, what is good for this country. And definitely, you know how active this country is in terms of public participation, and we will allow public participation.
And as you said earlier, you trust the teams that you work with, that they will implement whatever the task force decides.
Let me tell you, KWS is not an angel, but I have a lot of respect for KWS, and KWS is respected highly, not only here. I just came from Canada, Parks Canada, last week. They are begging us, this MOU we have signed, when can we send their team higher to come and learn from us? And this is Canada, high sophisticated, but they are telling us we benefit much more than you think we benefit from them.
So in terms of training and skills transfer, there's a lot they get from KWS.
The researchers are there.
Yes, a lot happening under your watch, especially on the wildlife side. Were you properly briefed when you took over?
You know, when you're appointed as a minister, was
there handover?
There is no handover. You have to learn in the job. You are not a specialist of anything. I'm not a conservationist before. I was more of a tourism guy, but I knew the interrelations between wildlife and tourism, so I appreciated it more. For example, there is the migration. People are saying, oh, Tanzania, migration has delayed because Tanzania has blocked the wildebeest to come to Kenya. 20 years ago, when I was a young man, migration starts only on the 3rd week of July. Because of climate change, migration now has started, is coming somewhere in June. But it ends up end of August, early September. But when it starts end of July, it ends almost in early October. So that was the tradition then. But because of climate change,
it has changed.
It has changed. But I know that because I was in tourism. Now when recently I received a call and said, oh, you know, Tanzanians are burning the grass because they don't want the wildebeest to cross. Probably we have this rivalry between us and Tanzania, which I don't say no. But the reality, burning grass on parks and in any agricultural land is not a bad idea. It's science. Secondly, climate change. This year, there has been more rain in Kenya and more rain in Tanzania. That's why they still have grass in Tanzania and Serengeti. That's why the wildebeest have not moved to Kenya. But if I will sit down and listen to the conspiracies,
okay,
yeah, against our neighbors, and they want me to react, no, I'm not going to react. I'm more sober than that.
CS, what would you say to those who say that in tourism, they have no problem with what you've done? When it comes to wildlife, you either were naive when you took the docket,
yeah,
or you did not understand, because this will go on record that under your watch, this happened. How do you respond to those?
Well, first of all, I appreciate those people who have said that when we're given responsibility, we get brief, we're taken through.
And you earn taxpayers' money to discharge those responsibilities.
We discharge those responsibilities. With those responsibilities, when we discharge them, we have quite a number of advisors around us and people who are technical in government. We listen to them. And we hardly overrule what technical advisors tell us. Because especially for me, being new, I will want to listen to them. I did not form a task force because I want to form a task force. This task force is this issue of consumptive utilization of wildlife. It is in the Act that
it's never been implemented.
That was passed in 2013. So I am just implementing the law. I'm not implementing what I want.
So you wonder why all the backlash?
I mean, when we passed this law in 2013, the same activists, the same NGOs, are the ones who have gone to Parliament and talked about it. But the Constitution says any resource, wildlife included, and natural resources must benefit the people of Kenya.
Okay. Speaking of the people of Kenya, CS, this is what some of them have to say. Do we have some feedback? Okay. First one. You don't give us your name, but you say, can CS Balala talk about the lion menace in Taita Taveta? Lions have been roaming around for a week, killing livestock and posing a danger to humans. No action has been taken. Okay.
Can I clarify that?
Okay. Then we'll look at the next one. Go ahead, CS.
Yesterday, I was informed about this issue. I've asked my chief warden or the assistant deputy director in charge of Savo area. And I was told a hyena was seen in that area, not lions. And the attack on that livestock was by a leopard. Yeah. So because we wondered how would lions leave all the way the national park to go to residential, very rare, particularly because Savo is very big. So that is the information I have. And my people, as I'm talking now, they're actually working on capturing those animals.
Okay, so yeah, that should be sorted. Let's look at the tweet as well. All right. Okay, it seems quite related. Loss of livestock in Taita Taveta, courtesy of lions. KWS has done nothing to contain this. People are living in fear. Okay, I think he's already talked a bit about that.
There on top of
Do we have another one? Okay, so those are the two. That's SMS and quick one for you.
Let me just
briefly, because I have another question. Yeah. Go ahead.
First of all, I said I did good in tourism, but maybe I'm naive and maybe I didn't.
And I have a tourism question for you, but go ahead.
And I said, listen. First of all, we have done what I could. I implemented the law as it was in terms of the task force. Yeah. And then, secondly, we have quite a bit of public participation. But I have also learned one thing, let me tell you, Maura. I was the Minister for Sports, and you know, sports have cartels. I've been Minister for Mining, mining had cartels. And I've seen now there are cartels in wildlife. And these cartels are very busy raising funds. Sometimes they don't account for those funds. So we want to have a dialogue with these guys and tell us, If you are an NGO, you raise funds, yeah, tell us where are your programs and where are you investing this money? Because we cannot be saying we are raising funds every day and suddenly we don't see what is happening. And the responsibility then is only KWS.
You see a narrative by someone to what, paint you in bad light by a group?
Of course, of course. Let me tell you, the status quo in Kenya, let me tell you, what is happening in Kenya doesn't happen anywhere in Africa, including South Africa, Botswana, and Namibia, which have the best conservation programs.
What, the death of the 9 rhinos?
No. Death of
that also doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
Well, it has happened many places.
At one go?
Let me tell you, the death of these 9 rhinos has not happened the first time here. It has happened in Olchogi in 2012. Again, 7 rhinos died. And it was why? It was because of the vegetation in that area. And our scientists have all those reports. So death of mass numbers like this have happened. And they have verification of what has happened. Yeah? That's why I'm saying, for us and for me, because it's current, it's shocking. And I'm really sad and I'm really disappointed of what could have not been done right. Because I trust KWS very much.
Kenyans are disappointed in you, CS.
No, I don't think so. That is your opinion.
No, it is the collective voice out there.
Mwaura, you are misguided by wrong information in questioning me in public news media. That's the problem with you. But I have nobody will be disappointed with me until those people have personal interests. And I have an open policy in my office. Let them come to my office and discuss with me. And I'm a listener. I will put what is wrong right.
Do you, as my final question, do you take any responsibility for what happened in Savo East?
Well, responsibility, we are going to wait for the task force.
You as CS?
Well, we will take responsibility for the individuals who have not done their job.
Okay, you don't want to answer my question.
Really, is it fair for you, Mwaura, to want to accuse CS Balala to take responsibility because an institution that is professionally established by law
under his watch?
But under my watch what? It's an institution that has done their job. If they have failed, why should I take responsibility? It's that institution to be taking responsibility. Okay. But if until you, Mwaura, and the others are after my blood, unfortunately,
I'm not after your blood, CS. I'm only asking the questions.
That's why you're asking me the wrong questions.
No, CS.
Read the Kenya Gazette and talk about hunting.
Fair enough.
Don't come asking here in public media
questions
and then
on behalf of Kenyans.
Okay, this is the truth. It's not true.
Because they can't sit here and ask you those questions.
They're lying you.
No, Kenyans are not cheating me, CS.
The truth.
We posted this yesterday on our social media platforms. Kenyans ask him these questions.
But
that's what I'm doing.
You are quoting a task force that is going to open hunting. I'm telling you, you should have referred to a Kenya Gazette that I signed, that I've said there is no debate in hunting. And you are coming to the public media and saying there is hunting. You're going to open hunting. But there's a Kenya Gazette. We follow the law.
Fair enough. And I give you a chance to clarify, CS. Okay, we have one last message. All right, ask Wanjala from Bungoma, ask the minister what's the status of county wildlife conservation and compensation committees that were put in place by your predecessor. Okay, a bit of a laugh there. Any reason why?
First of all, we have, unfortunately, we have gone and created so many structures and then we don't have the budget for it. We have done a compensation program, which at the moment is so sad again. We have looked at wildlife, not as our heritage. We have looked at wildlife. How do I now use wildlife to run to government to get compensation? We have almost 15 billion shillings pending on compensation. The compensation budget that comes to me for this financial year coming is 500 million. How do I pay up that? And then we have created these structures. Their main objective, originally, I know the spirit and the thinking of these structures was to encourage conservation advocacy in the lower levels. But then these structures were established. Now their only main job is to wait for reporting and to allocate compensation. So then these people come to us and say, we want an office. We want a 4x4, we want an allowance, we want a salary. So when we look at that, it's a huge budget. I thought these are the people who should be there to assist the community, because they come from the community.
Not benefit from the community.
Not benefit from the... Okay, we can facilitate them in a few things, but not really demand 4x4 cars.
So what did you do then?
So I said, I thought we have a scheme called honorary wardens. For example, in your county, we say, Maura, which county you come from? Are you committed to conservation? You said yes. Why don't we? Then you apply to be honorary warden. You are vetted. The board of KWS vets, brings to me, I gazette you. Yeah? When I gazette you as honorary warden, anything concerning conservation, you'll be there to be informing government, but you'll be there also to be informing the community. Okay. So you're the liaison. So if we have already existing honorary wardens, we have now established this new structure of almost, I think, 15 members in every county. So these new demands has made government rethink. Probably we can still have community committees, but let's involve the honorary wardens who have by themselves say we don't want to be paid, we want to serve the people.
Fair enough. I hope, Wanjala, that's been okay. I'm told we have one last one.
Yeah.
Let's put that up. Okay. Why is CS Balala not taking responsibility? We saw him the other day acting when our rugby team refused to advertise Brand Kenya. He withdrew the sponsorship immediately at Obegi Malak. It's what Kenya's asking, CS. It's not me.
Yeah, but so now the embarrassment that caused by rugby team, so I should take responsibility as well.
He's saying you did, he in his view, that's what you did.
I took action.
You took action?
I took action. That's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for the report of the investigation, and I will take action immediately.
He wants you to take responsibility.
To resign?
I believe so. Or to even publicly admit here that, as the CS, I take responsibility for what happened. I think those are his words.
Well, let's wait for the investigation report. Let's analyze it properly. We'll come back publicly when it's presented to me. We will say who will take responsibility.
When is the report out?
Hopefully by Friday next week.
Okay.
We are hoping it should be ready. Because also, again, I've been trying to talk to this veterinary. How do we get it? It has to go through the labs and everything. It's highly complicated. So it's not easy. But I also made it very clear, they don't report to KWS.
Okay.
KWS is an interested party. Can they report either to my office, but I prefer, they don't even report to me. They give it to the head of the multi-agency investigation team.
What's the status of the remaining, should be 2 rhinos?
Yeah.
The 2 that are still in Savo East?
One was seen in Maungo and quite healthy, and even visitors were taking pictures. The other one was seen around the sanctuary yesterday. So what I've also directed yesterday to make sure that high level of salinity in the borehole should be immediately be isolated, so that if the rhino has to come closer to the sanctuary, that is out of bounds water pan.
Yeah, but you still say that could be one of the reasons, but you're not
So
you're not sure if it's the primary reason.
That's why we say the preliminary report that we got is that pH level or the salinity levels were too high. So if that is the preliminary, can we isolate this borehole and allow the rest other boreholes to work, because their levels are very low?
Fair enough.